Welcome to UNESCO and welcome to the U.S. flag ceremony. And please welcome Dr. Jill Biden, First Lady of the United States of America, and Madame Audrey Azoulay, Director General of UNESCO. In order to thank you all very much. You can please take your seats. In order to symbolically mark, In order to symbolically mark the effective return of the United States of America amidst the UNESCO membership, the Star and Stripes flag will be hoisted in this ceremony. Please welcome, to start us out, Mr. Forrest Whitaker, to give us a perspective of this, for this ceremony, please. Monsieur Whitaker, c'est un grand témoin des relations étroites de l'organisation avec les États-Unis d'Amérique. À travers son ONG, il a travaillé directement aux côtés de l'UNESCO au cours des 12 dernières années. Veuillez accueillir notre envoyé spécial, Monsieur Forrest Whitaker.
Director General, First Lady Biden, distinguished guests, all protocols observed. I'm so moved today to stand before you. I can't wait to see the flag of the United States of America proudly flying once again here at UNESCO. I've been hoping for the day when America would rejoin the organization, because the United States and UNESCO are built on the same principles, foundations. A shared commitment to freedom, to equality, and to peace. It's been my honor to defend our shared values for over a decade, both as a Special Envoy for Peace and Reconciliation at UNESCO and through my Whitaker Peace and Development Initiative. And as UNESCO has supported WPDI in our work, my incredible colleagues and I have developed extensive programs in nations like South Sudan, South Africa, Uganda, Chad, Cameroon, Gabon, Mexico, here in France, and the United States. We train and educate women and young people, giving them the tools they need to ultimately build peace and still to build the prosperity through social entrepreneurship. None of this work could have been possible without UNESCO, which first supported my philanthropic pursuits when they were a little more than a seed in my mind, and which has continued to do so ever since. For the past decade, we've seen how UNESCO connects people in the ground on the ideals of peace. Those are speaking from the past, and those are they too believe. So as an American and a global citizen, I'm overjoyed that the United States is once again able to fully contribute to UNESCO's efforts. We've already done so much together, but this day marks the start of our ability to do so much more. Together we can repair damages of war and rebuild the foundations of peace and reconciliation. We must fight against hatred, anti-Semitism, and racism through new initiatives in education, history, and press. We must protect freedom of the press. We must prioritize access to education as a lever of peace worldwide, both in emerging and developing nations. And on this point, I'd like to be able to acknowledge one of the United States' greatest champions of education, our First Lady, Jill Biden, who is here with us today. Thank you for all you've done to support young people around the world. And let's also take a moment to recognize Madam Director General Azoulay for such incredible leadership of this organization. We're writing the first pages of a new chapter in UNESCO's history today. And as the United States flag is raised, take a look around. Think of what would it be like to see a world of increased capacity to rebuild a culture of peace, a world in which poverty has been eradicated, a world which uses education to build sustainable development. We can all be authors to help create this world, transforming it from an idea to a reality. So let's take the next journey. I'm fully committed to writing the next pages alongside you. And you see you have the support of those from before and those that will come after. Ah, there it is. Thank you.
Mr. Whittaker, please. Dr. Bell, perhaps a photo could be taken. Mr. Whittaker, if you could please stay for one picture of the three of you together on stage. Over there. I think they're C'est maintenant mon heure de demander à la directrice générale de prendre la parole.
Madame la Première Dame des États-Unis, chère Dr. Jill Biden, Madame la Présidente du Conseil exécutif de l'Unesco, Mesdames et Messieurs les ministres, chère Brigitte Macron, cher Forest Whitaker, grand ami de l'Unesco, Excellences, chers collègues, chers amis, nous célébrons aujourd'hui un moment rare, un moment heureux dans la vie des nations. En ces temps de division, de déchirement, de menaces même existentielles pour l'humanité, nous réaffirmons ici et aujourd'hui notre union. La bannière étoilée des États-Unis d'Amérique flottera dans quelques instants dans le ciel de Paris, sous le regard de la Tour Eiffel, et parmi les œuvres des plus grands artistes, eux qui ont soutenu dès le début les buts de notre organisation. Je pense notamment au mobile de Calder, qui est derrière vous, Alexander Calder, dont l'œuvre qui est ici, c'était sa Clockwise Spiral, qui a été commandée pour l'UNESCO par un de mes illustres prédécesseurs américains. Et cette œuvre a été renommée Mobile par un autre artiste, un artiste français naturalisé américain. Mobile pour désigner le mouvement de paix que nous soutenons ici, vous le savez, par la culture, par l'éducation, par les sciences, par l'information. Et c'est un Américain, un homme de culture et grand défenseur de l'idée multilatérale, Archibald MacLeish, qui a saisi l'essence de notre mission avec cette formule de la Constitution de l'UNESCO. Les guerres prenant naissance dans l'esprit des hommes, c'est dans l'esprit des hommes que doivent être élevées les défenses de la paix. C'est William Carr, de l'American National Education Association, que vous connaissez bien, son ambition pour faire de l'UNESCO la plus grande organisation internationale dédiée à l'éducation. C'est Russell Train, directeur de l'Agence de la protection de l'environnement des États-Unis au début des années 70, et son intuition pionnière qu'il fallait protéger ensemble, dans un même mouvement, le patrimoine culturel et le patrimoine naturel de l'humanité. Nombreux sont les citoyens américains qui ont mis leur énergie au service de cette organisation et de son idéal, et leur esprit nous accompagne en cette journée. Alors d'abord, et bien sûr, le retour parmi nous des États-Unis, effectif depuis le 10 juillet dernier, renforce l'universalité de notre organisation. C'est l'aspiration naturelle et le socle de la légitimité des Nations Unies. C'est donc un retour aux sources, une légitimité accrue, mais c'est aussi une vision pour l'avenir. Et je veux ici en remercier tout d'abord le président Biden. C'est sa volonté politique qui a été la force motrice de ce retour. C'est le travail du département d'État, sous la direction d'Anthony Blinken, qui a donné chair à ce choix stratégique. C'est la lucidité des parlementaires qui l'a rendu possible. Les membres du Congrès ont, par-delà leurs différences, déverrouillé une situation bloquée depuis 2011. Je veux ici à nouveau remercier le président Leahy, le sénateur Coons, dont le rôle fut déterminant, ainsi que leurs équipes, à l'expertise et à l'engagement exceptionnel. Et nous avons l'honneur d'avoir aujourd'hui parmi nous, pour mener la délégation américaine, une championne de l'éducation, la première dame des États-Unis, le Dr Jill Biden, qu'on appelle aussi, on me dit, Dr B. Enseignante elle-même, elle est d'un soutien constant pour la communauté éducative aux États-Unis et à travers le monde. Et vous avez toujours, cher Dr Biden, encouragé le travail de l'Unesco et vous y avez même participé. Je veux saluer aussi la vitalité et le soutien de la société civile américaine dans toutes ses dimensions, scientifiques, artistes, notamment jazzmen, professionnels de la culture, communautés éducatives, universités, musées, organisations de défense des droits civiques et de lutte contre les discriminations, et tant d'autres, amis fidèles par temps clairs et par temps orageux. Et je veux saluer tout particulièrement Esther Cooper-Smith, qui est présente aujourd'hui, et sa capacité unique, historique, légendaire, de produire du dialogue et du consensus. Et à cette mobilisation exceptionnelle des États-Unis a répondu une mobilisation tout aussi exceptionnelle des États membres de l'Unesco, en conférence générale extraordinaire, pour porter ce message simple mais essentiel: ensemble, nous serons plus forts. Et c'est cette volonté d'unité au service de nos responsabilités qui nous a portés ces dernières années. Ensemble, nous avons su trouver la voie du consensus, même là où il apparaissait hors de portée. Des dialogues qui s'étaient rompus ont été renoués. Des tensions politiques ont été apaisées. Ensemble, nous avons su nous porter à la pointe des enjeux du XXIe siècle, quand certains nous croyaient cantonnés à une vision ancrée dans le passé. Nous nous mobilisons pour l'éducation, pour l'Afrique, pour une meilleure relation au vivant, pour un développement éthique des technologies, pour préserver l'information à l'ère digitale, bien sûr pour les patrimoines et la diversité culturelle. Des normes essentielles ont été édictées sur l'intelligence artificielle, sur la science ouverte. Des opérations ambitieuses ont été menées sur le terrain pour réparer des sociétés meurtries par les guerres et par les crises. Et en ce monde désuni, où les appétits de puissance ont pu parfois conduire à remettre en cause le multilatéralisme, le retour des États-Unis a bien sûr une signification qui dépasse l'UNESCO. Face à la multiplication des conflits, face au dérèglement climatique, à l'effondrement du vivant, face aux révolutions technologiques, face aux inégalités, notamment éducatives, ce retour nous dit que nous devons et que nous pouvons nous rassembler. Et je crois que le multilatéralisme est indispensable à notre avenir, mais à la condition expresse qu'il se réforme pour épouser les enjeux de son temps et pour inclure véritablement toutes les voix du monde. C'est la meilleure réponse au mouvement de déconstruction de la coopération internationale et c'est, je crois aussi, un puissant message d'espoir pour les jeunes générations. Excellencies, dear Dr. Biden, today's ceremony also signals new ambitions in spirit of unity, of inclusive multilateralism. This return will allow us to take more action, better action, in all the fields of our mandate, with and for the world's peoples. In 2023, it will already allow us to step up our efforts in strategic domains and expand our presence in field operation, whether it means better responding to crises, which are multiplying, developing digital learning and skills, promoting African heritage and history, fighting racism, opening up science, especially to women and young people, managing water and the ocean more sustainably. The return of the US is essential in this field. I am also delighted to see the US determination to commit to specific areas of our action through the voluntary contribution that have already been announced for girls' education in science and technology in Africa, to promote the values of peace through education by teaching the history and mechanism of the Holocaust. You know, it's a mission of utmost importance for UNESCO, a mission bequeathed to us by a generation that told us that remembrance means not only mourning the dead, but also warning the living, to quote Samuel Pizarre. You also wanted to help UNESCO strengthen its action in Ukraine to safeguard and rehabilitate cultural heritage ravaged by war. And you will also allow us to expand our vital mission to protect media freedom and journalists worldwide. And finally, this return supports and strengthens the UNESCO teams who keep our mandate alive around the world. I would like to conclude, dear Dr. Biden, with the words of another First Lady of the United States of America, Eleanor Roosevelt. Her words are especially relevant as we contemplate the 194 flags that will soon flutter in unison. She said, and I quote, with a bit of rain, but it's okay, "Our own land and our own flag cannot be replaced by any other land or any other flag. But you can join with other nations under a joint flag to accomplish something good for the world that you cannot accomplish alone." Driven by this conviction, by this hope, we are honored today to put the Star-Spangled Banner back where it belongs. I thank you very much. Welcome back.
Dr. Jill Biden.
Thank you. I'll speak quickly. So bonjour, good afternoon, Director General, Madame Macron, my dear friend, Minister Attal, Minister Abdul Malak, Your Excellencies, distinguished guests. I was honored to join you today as we raise the flag of the United States, a symbol of our commitment to global collaboration and peace. The United States is proud to join as a member state of UNESCO. Madam Director General, you've worked long and hard to help us realize this goal, so thank you. To Forrest Whitaker and all of our UNESCO Goodwill Ambassadors, we are all grateful for your tireless efforts on behalf of this organization. Over the years, my husband and I have had the opportunity to get to know President and Madame Macron. And we were honored to host them for our first state visit at the White House last December. Brigitte, that will always be one of our best memories. We had such fun. Your friendship will always remind us that what we have in common can transcend language and culture. And that's what I'd like to talk to you all about today. Connections and the education that makes them possible. When my husband, President Biden, took office 2.5 years ago, he made a promise to the American people that he would rebuild the systems that were broken and fortify our institutions, that he would work to bring divided communities back together, and that he would put us on a path to a better, brighter future while restoring our leadership on the world stage. And he did. He made sure that all Americans could get the vaccines they needed. He safely reopened our schools and put people back to work with more than 13 million jobs created. He invested in green technology that will help build the sustainable economy we need and make sure students could get trained in those jobs. For some, that would be enough to take care of our own, but not for my husband. President Biden understands that sickness can travel across oceans, that a war in Europe can empty grocery shelves across the world, that the smoke from wildfires can cloud a whole continent. And so he ensured that we become partners in global vaccine initiatives. He built a coalition of more than 140 countries to stand against Putin's unjust war. He rejoined the Paris Climate Agreement on his first day in office and continues to bring nations together to address the climate crisis. He's harnessed the power of institutions across the United Nations to collectively address global food insecurity, violence, and human rights violations, injustice and corruption, poverty and hunger, climate disasters and disease. Those things aren't contained by borders. Some of the biggest challenges of our time cannot be solved in isolation. Of course, we need to take care of our own citizens, but we're also a part of the global community. When we take our seat in that coalition, we can fight for our values like democracy and equality and human rights. President Biden understands that if we hope to create a better world, the United States can't go it alone, but we must help lead the way. That's why we're so proud to rejoin UNESCO. Because in my opinion, and sure, as a teacher, I'm a little biased, education is one of the greatest shared tools in shaping our future for those who will come after us. Every generation inherits the world in their own time. Today, almost half of our population is under the age of 25, and they're feeling the pain of the challenges we face. It's young men and women who fight our wars, who grapple with the aftermath. Young parents who are asked to sacrifice their education to care for their families. It's young people who carry the heaviest weight of unemployment and poverty, who will face more of the deadly consequences of climate change. But with their passion and potential, with their hope and heart, youth can lead us toward a better future. I saw that in Kenya more than 10 years ago when I met a young woman named Aaliyah. Aaliyah was just 25, and she was raising a son in a one-room, tin-roof home in Kibera, the largest urban slum in Africa. There was no electricity, no running water, but she spent her days teaching young girls about teen pregnancy, about sexual abuse and rape. The topic was taboo, but the conversations were powerful. I asked her if she wanted to leave Kibera, but she said, "No, this is my home. I want to make a difference here." I saw it when I talked to displaced teenagers in Ecuador last year. Their families had fled brutal violence in Venezuela, but they dreamed of returning home to rebuild their country. And I've seen it in my own classroom again and again. As a writing teacher at a community college, I teach refugees and veterans and single parents trying to juggle school and jobs and caring for their families. At the start of the semester, they're strangers, often nervous about speaking up in class or sharing their writing. But soon, we get to know each other. We share stories and we laugh. I make them write poetry, and there's usually a student who tells me, no way. But he's not writing, he says he's not writing poetry. But he always does, and it's incredible. So we become a community. They offer to babysit for one another and give rides to class. They find their voice and realize a confidence that they never knew was inside of them. They teach me so much. And they go out and they share those big ideas with others to build good lives and give back when they can. Young people are our future, but they are also our present. And when we give them what they need to thrive, clean water and air, good schools and job opportunities, safety and mental health support, they'll show us the world through new eyes. They'll raise strong families and give back to their neighborhoods. They'll use their voices and fight for the future that we all want and need. Education is a powerful key to that future. It changes us so that we can go on and change our world together. Everyone deserves that opportunity. It was in that spirit that UNESCO was created, to spread ideas and open minds, to give people the tools to thrive, whether it's protecting freedom of expression or trying to better understand our oceans or shaping standards on artificial intelligence, to preserve our treasures so we can remember the history that makes us who we are, to show us that our differences are precious and our similarities infinite. Yes, we've seen that the perils of our present cannot be contained by borders, but goodness and hope can spread too. The beauty of art that speaks to our hearts, the reverence we feel when we step into a temple and learn how ancient people worshiped and lived, the scientific discoveries that reveal the reaches of the universe or the microscopic systems of our cells, the new ideas that pass from person to person like a flame, growing brighter without diminishing its source. 7 years ago, as Second Lady, I joined this organization here in Paris to help launch UNESCO's Teach Her program. It aimed to educate girls who have often been left out of classrooms and get them excited about STEAM. Later that month, I traveled to Costa Rica, where one of the first Teach Her programs was going to be launched. And I met two girls, Stephanie and Erica, who showed me their science projects and their smiles lighting up with so much pride. Stephanie told me that some people thought science was just for men. But at her school, just as many girls loved it as boys. And I'll never forget her passion. So when I returned to Costa Rica last year, I invited them to meet me again. Stephanie told me she was studying food engineering and had been selected as a finalist in a contest by the Institute for Food Technology. Erica was working in a microbiological analysis lab and looking forward to earning her master's degree in that field. Having the opportunity to study science and explore their interests changed the course of their lives. And UNESCO made that possible for young women. Now, just imagine the number of people that they will teach and inspire. It's a ripple of promise that has no end. Together, let's empower the next generation of thinkers and dreamers and doers, helping them unleash their possibilities. The challenges of our times, from authoritarianism to climate change, create an uncertain future. But what is certain is the possibility still inside of us to innovate, to cooperate, to discover new solutions. It's up to us to realize the future together. Thank you.
And as the clouds move past us, we're going to symbolically mark the effective return of the United States of America amidst the UNESCO membership, the Star-Spangled Banner, and the Star and Stripes flag will now be hoisted alongside the flags of the other 193 member states of UNESCO. And for this solemn moment, we're going to be accompanied by the American soprano, Lisette Oropesa, who will interpret the Star-Spangled Banner.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly wheeled at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Ladies and gentlemen, this ceremony is coming to an end. We thank you for your attendance and invite you to remain in your seats for a few more moments as Dr. Biden and the Director General leave the stage. They will head to Hall Segure just behind you, where together with you, we'll raise a glass to toast and celebrate this historic occasion. Mesdames et messieurs, cette cérémonie touche à sa fin. Nous vous remercions de votre présence et nous vous invitons à rester quelques instants à votre place, tandis que la directrice générale et Dr. Jill Biden quittent la scène. Elles rejoindront les quelques instants au Hall Segure, où ensemble avec vous, nous allons porter un toast pour célébrer ces moments historiques. Please remain seated, and just in a few moments, we'll be able to go towards the Segure Hall as the ministers and the Director General and Dr. Biden will make their way into Hall Segure. Just a few more moments, please. As they give their goodbyes, we can start. We're going to just ask the folks with the green badges, the delegations who are seated right in front of me, to go towards the Haut-Ségur. You can leave to your right, follow the blue carpet, and turn right on your first turn over there towards the cornet. Please do leave your headsets. Vous pouvez laisser vos casques d'interprétation sur votre chaise et vous tournez à droite vers la cornette pour aller vers la salle Miro pour regagner le Haut-Ségur, s'il vous plaît.